Okay, I'm making these videos for students who are doing A Christmas Carols by Charles Dickens. I'm doing some annotation. I'm doing this for my students at Joe Richardson Community School. I'm going to begin with Stave 1, and I've chosen a passage the first time we see Scrooge. When I see an extract, like in an exam, what I try to do is split it into three. So roughly I would break this into these three parts. I'm going to annotate. I'm going to mark what I think are some of the most important phrases. I would encourage you to do the same. But he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. So we get this imagery of hands extracting, keeping, saving, stealing as much as he can, money-wise, just money, hands and money, taking what he can. Squeezing the money out of stuff, wrenching, taking everything out of things, grasping, scraping, clutching. Covetous is sinful, is a sin, and it's desiring what others have. This is all to say, he's extremely greedy. And we get that. Dickens doesn't tell us, he gives us the image, he paints it. Hard and sharp, and so for me this is all the first I would use to describe him. Hard and sharp as flint from which no steel had ever struck out a generous fire. Secret and self-contained, solitary as an oyster. So hard and sharp strikes you right away. Okay, so flint, you hit flint to start a fire, and he isn't generous. He's not generous. He is private. And the simile that he uses is solitary as an oyster. If you know an oyster, it's completely to itself and keeps to itself. And inside, maybe there's a pearl, maybe not. Who knows? But what we see is that he's emotionless, he's hard, he's hurtful, he's sharp. He's lonely, he likes to be lonely. He's not really lonely, he's just solitary. He's secret. He's of himself. He doesn't converse or with others. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. I think his pointed nose is something. I mean, lately I've been thinking about how perhaps anti-Semitic the presentation of Scrooge is. That's maybe for some of the more advanced ones of you if you want to look into that. But an easy one is just his grating voice. Like you grate cheese, you get this, you just hear him and you feel horrible. You feel like you're shredded up. A frosty time was on his head and on his eyebrows and his wiry chin. He carried his own low temperature always about with him. He iced his office in the dog days and didn't thaw it 1 degree at Christmas. He keeps it cold to save money, but he also likes it cold. So in this first part, we get this description of him. There's a lot packed in because it's Dickens. I'm going to move on now here. Let me see if I can just get this in the sunlight. Okay. External heat. So now we pick up on the cold. So that's the first part. Now the second part of the extract. External heat and cold had little influence on Scrooge. No warmth could warm, no wintry weather chill him. No wind that blew was bitterer than him. He is the opposite of sweet. Not sweet. He can't be warmed. He doesn't get cold. He's independent. He's unaffected by his environment. No falling snow was more intent upon its purpose. No pelting rain less open to entreaty. foul weather didn't know where to have him. The heaviest rain and snow and hail and sleet could boast of the advantage over him in only one respect. They often came down handsomely, and Scrooge never did. Oh, sorry, this is quotation 4. I think when compared to the weather, he is harsh. He doesn't even come down nicely. It's all brutal. Let's see if I can move this to get into the sunlight so you can see a bit better. Nobody ever... Oh, you know what? Actually, the line shouldn't be here. Maybe I'll put the line here. So, that's 2, and here's the 3rd. So, I mean, it's clear to say we have this very negative vision of him. But what we're pointing at particularly is his inability to feel, his inability to be affected by things, his greed, and how he looks is almost how he is. Nobody stops him to say, my dear Scrooge, how are you? Will you come and see me? No beggars, not even beggars ask him for anything. No children speak to him. No man or woman ever in their life asked where they are, the way to such a place. So beggars, so star 6, beggars, children, everyone avoids him. Avoids him. They all avoid him. But the best one is even blind men's dogs knew him, and when they saw him coming, would tug their owners into doorways and would wag their tails as though no eye, not seeing, is better than an evil eye. He is evil. Star 7. Dogs find him evil. Kind dog. He's a real cartoon Disney villain. But he likes it. What does he care? He likes not being liked. Which is crucial. To edge his way along the crowd's paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance, was what the knowing ones call nuts to Scrooge. He doesn't care. So when we see him again, and when we see him throughout this novel, when we get to Stave 5, we see he's almost hyperactive in his kindness and his love of people. But here we get the sense of his greediness, that he is unaffected by the weather. He's really harsh and brutal, and nobody likes him, and he likes that nobody actually likes him.